Before we discuss trig ratios, we are first going to look at the different parts of this triangle. We are specifically looking at right triangles, as you can see in this picture that we have right here. The first thing we're going to look at is the reference angle. The reference angle is this angle right here. This can be described as reference angle A. Now, the different parts of the triangle we know of a 90-degree angle. We have the hypotenuse, which is right here, line CA. And then looking at our reference angle, we have the side that is opposite and the side that is adjacent. We can say line CB is opposite angle A, and side AB is adjacent to angle A. The first trig ratio we'll be discussing is tangent. The ratio for the tangent is tangent equals opposite over adjacent. When using A as our reference angle, we have tan angle A equals line CB over line AB. Using the tangent ratio, we can find the missing side of a triangle, the opposite side or the adjacent side, one of the legs. Let's try an example together. First, let's write down what we know. Well, first we know the angle we're looking at is angle 35. That once again is called our reference angle. Next, we're looking at the side opposite. So opposite is equal to x. And then we have our side that is adjacent. And that side is equal to 10. So if we plug this into our trig ratio, we have tangent 35, because once again, that's our angle that we're discussing, equals opposite over adjacent. Now, we have a variable here that we're looking for. As you can see, we want to find the value for x. How do I get rid of this 10 so I can get x by itself? Right now, hopefully you're thinking inverse operation, and you've taken your pen and you've multiplied both sides by 10. And as you can see, these two 10s cancel out, so I'm left with x equals 10 times tangent 35. Please watch the video below to see how to get the final answer. First, we're going to turn the calculator on. If anything's on the screen, you can clear it out. So our equation said x equals 10 times tangent 35. So we'll type in 10 tangent 35, close parentheses, enter. And we can see we have 7.002. So we'll round it to even 7. Thus, we can write our answer as x equals 7. Let's try another example together. I'm going to start by writing what I know. First, I know my reference angle is equal to 40 degrees. My opposite side is equal to 7. And my adjacent side is the variable that I'm looking for, which we'll call x. So if I set up my trig ratio, I have tangent 40 equals opposite over adjacent. Now once again at this point, you can tell we're going to need to do some inverse operations in order to get our variable by itself. We're going to start by multiplying both sides by x. That gets rid of both of these x's here, and I'm left with x tangent of 40 equals 7. Now I still need to do one more operation in order to get tangent by itself. Since x is being multiplied by tangent 40, I'm going to do the opposite, which is division. I'm going to divide both sides by tangent of 40. These two cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 7 over tangent 40. Now, before you input this into the calculator, I want you to see one thing very quickly. So, in the beginning, we started with tangent 40 equals 7 over x. We ended with x equals 7 over tangent of 40. If you look, you notice tangent of 40 and x have changed places. Now, please watch the video on how to input this into your calculator, and we'll go over the answer. For this problem, we're looking at x equals 7 divided by tangent of 40. We plug that in as 7 divided by tangent 40. Close our parentheses. Hit enter. We have 8.34, which we can round that to 8.3.
All right, Ms. Ross.
I want you to try these next two problems on your own, but here are 3 simple steps that'll help you solve every single trig ratio. 1. Write down what you know. 2. Set up your trig ratio. 3. Solve for variable. And round to nearest tenth. Please try these 2 problems and continue watching the video. Trig ratios can also be used to solve word problems. For instance, trying to find the height of the tree using the angle of the sun and the length of the shadow. Let's set up our trig ratio together. We have tangent, my reference angle, which is right here, 40 degrees, equals opposite over adjacent. Go ahead and work through this problem and tell me what the value is you got for x. If you got x equals 14.3 feet, then great job. If you're still slightly confused, please go to Google Classroom and see the link for additional practice for tangent ratio practice. We're also going to look at inverse trig ratios today. Inverse trig ratios are used to find a missing angle. Given 2 side lengths of a triangle, we can use an inverse ratio to find the missing angle. We'll start with inverse tangent today. As you can see, we need to identify our reference angle. First, we'll look at reference angle B. The angle for B is unknown, so we can write reference angle equals x degrees. Well, we can also see that the side opposite angle B is 23. And the side adjacent to angle B is equal to 31. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and set up my tangent ratio like I normally would. Tangent of my reference angle, which we know today is x, equals opposite over adjacent. Now, since we have a variable on the left-hand side with our trig ratio, we need to get rid of that. And the way we do that is we do the opposite of what's been being done, and that's called inverse tangent, which looks like this. Please watch the video in order to see how to input this into the calculator correctly. For this example, we're finding the angle, so we have x equals the inverse tangent times 23 divided by 31. To plug that in, first turn it on. We hit second tangent to get the inverse, with the negative 1 at the top. 23 divided by 31. Close your parentheses. Enter. We see here at 36.57. We'll round that to 36.6. Looking at the same problem, we're now going to look at our other reference angle, which we see here is y. So once again, I'm going to write down the information that I know. Reference angle equals y. The side opposite angle y, as you can see, is side BC. So I know opposite is equal to 31. And adjacent is AC, which is equal to 23. So I do the same thing, set up my tangent ratio. Tangent of angle y is equal to opposite over adjacent. Once again, our variable, as we can see, is on the left-hand side. So we need to perform the inverse operation, which tells me that y is equal to the inverse of tangent times 31 over 23. Once again, watch the video. Make sure you input this equation into the calculator correctly, and we'll check our answers together. For this example, we are finding angle y. So we had angle y equals the inverse of tangent times 31 divided by 23. Once again, we're going to type second tangent for the inverse. And we have 31 divided by 23, which equals 50.42. We'll round that to 50.4 degrees. Here are two examples you can try on your own, but I'm going to give you the steps that you can use to solve these problems. 1, write down what you know. 2, set up your trig ratio. 3, perform inverse operation, and round to nearest tenth. We will be reviewing all of these examples in class tomorrow, so please be prepared with an answer.